everyone, welcome to my first redstone video, and today I'd like to showcase a 1.16 24 furnace array. It uses the target blocks to make it smaller, and it's very fast and efficient and very simple to build. So if we start by putting whatever we want to smelt in the top chest, we can see how it works. So the items go across and then they get distributed equally to every single furnace. And there are no skipped hoppers, and then we also have a fuel distribution on the back, which is exactly the same. So it's not too difficult to build, and it's fairly easy. If we look in these furnaces here, the item only comes in slightly before this one leaves. So the only downside is that it doesn't come in exactly, which would be 200 ticks. It comes in slightly before, and if you was to smelt thousands upon thousands of items, it could potentially back up, but that would require you to be smelting for days upon days straight in real life, so honestly it's really not going to break. Yeah, please note that the glass here is only for decoration, so you can see through, and you can use any blocks you want, and you don't actually need to use either strip blocks or glass. It's just decoration. So for those of you more technical players out there, you can just hook up another furnace array to this and just have the items distribute. So the other chest would be over here, and then you can just hook up two hoppers and then have it both ways like this. So you have a furnace around both sides like this, so then you have one going off that way. And for those of you more technical players out there, you can use hopper minecart to distribute them across 8 furnaces, which is a 192 furnace array. But you only need that if you need really large quantities of material really quickly. So if you're planning on any big projects, you might want to build this. But again, 24 furnace array is incredibly fast, even for more technical players out there. So before we move on with the tutorial, it is really cheap and it only requires target blocks, redstone and repeaters, and the only slightly more difficult thing to get would be all these hoppers. However, it's fairly easy if you make yourself an iron farm, and I would highly recommend .chem's design for small single player worlds, or if you want something a bit larger, I advise you go check out NemBomb. Right, okay, let's get started with the tutorial. So you need to place your output chest, so this is where all the items are going to end up. Then you need to connect 24 hoppers to it. Now that you've got 24 hoppers, you want to place a furnace on top of each of these hoppers, so you have all 24 furnaces. Okay, and now once you've got all the furnaces in place, we need to put in the distribution line for the input. So if you put 2 hoppers on top of every furnace, just pointing downwards, and then you need these 2 hoppers here, because otherwise it is not lossless and you might get items stuck in hoppers. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to get the distribution. So we have items that run all the way over to here. So we need to get our output, which will be a comparator. And then we can just place hoppers facing to the right all the way across like this. They need to be facing that way. And if you built this mode, they need to be facing that way, obviously. Okay, now you've got that hopper line on top, you can just place your chest that is where you're going to put all the stuff in that you want to smelt. And then we go over to here and we build up the redstone. The redstone is very simple. So you have a block up like this with a torch on it, and then a repeater that faces that way next to it on 1 tick. And that repeater should be on from the torch. Then we need 4 blocks here with redstone dust. Then we go down to here, and then we put redstone and then repeater on 2 ticks. Now we run that along for 4 blocks, and then we put 4 target blocks up here. 4 target blocks up here like that, and then we can run redstone into the target blocks like that. So that means that all of these hoppers should be powered, and then we can just repeat what we did back here. So to get the redstone up, we have a repeater and then dust. And then we can just place our 4 blocks like at the start, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. And then we can just put redstone on top. And then we come down and put a repeat. Oh, sorry, this repeat's meant to be on 2 ticks. So we come down here with our dust and a repeater on 2 ticks. Then we have our 4 target blocks here. And then just run the redstone in like that. And then we do the same thing here. So we have the 4 up. And then we have this line that goes up along to here, and then back down into this repeater. And now we have the last 4, which are target blocks, and then we have to connect it up to the thing. Then we have to connect it up. Okay, so once we've done that pattern there, we have to place 1 piece of dust there, target block on the side, so the redstone goes up and is facing into it, and a torch here. And that is your input for the what you want to smelt. Now we have to add the fuel. So what we're going to do is we're going to place a hopper into the back like this, and then we're going to place a hopper facing down into it. So we're just going to go like this. Okay, now what we do once we have that is we do the exact same thing that we've got over here, just 1 block lower. So we have the comparator coming out of here, and then we run a hopper line all the way over it, like so. Okay, now once we've got the hoppers, we do the same thing with the chest over here. And then we can do the same thing on this side. So we put up a block here with a torch on the end, and then a repeater on 2 ticks. 1 tick, sorry. First one's always on 1 tick. And then we have 4 here. Then we go down. 2 ticks. And then we run it into some target blocks here. Right, okay, once we've got that pattern of all the target blocks and then the repeaters, we do the exact same thing. So we go up, place a target block on the side, and then a torch next to it. Okay, so that should be the entire system done. You can use whatever fuel you want, but if you use sticks or carpets or something like that, the furnaces won't fill fast enough, so you have to put the fuel in first. So if we distribute the fuel, I'm just going to have charcoal because it's easier. That should distribute, and then I'll get some iron, and the system should kick in. So if everything's done correctly, the items should filter across into the furnaces, and they should all light up like that. And then we have the 24 furnaces all working. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.